Yo, what's up YouTube? It is OG and today I'm super excited to be bringing you guys a new series that I'm going to be featuring on my channel. Now, this series is going to be called Keeping It 1K. So every single season, I'm going to take on the challenge of getting a new brawler to 1000 cups or higher. I've always loved watching Brawl Stars video guys on how to play brawlers, and I've learned a lot from them. So I want to give you guys the best possible guides that I can, and to do that, I feel like I need to get each brawler at least 1000 cups or higher. This will give you guys the pro player point of view that you need to succeed with using that brawler. Now, I already have a video of getting Bo to 1000 cups, and that's going to be the unofficial entry to the series, just because I really do not want to get Bo to 1000 cups again. Today's video is going to be on getting Daryl to 1000 cups, and let me just say to start off, this was so easy compared to Bo. I think Bo was really good to start off because now my confidence is super high and I'm getting a little cocky. So hopefully I can stick to my word and get a new brawler to 1000 plus each season. But yeah, Daryl was a breeze compared to Bo. Now, 2 updates ago, Daryl received a complete rework, and ever since then, I've just loved the character. I love the whole assassin mentality when you roll in, get a kill, roll out. And, he's just very, very strong right now. I always said that because last season last meta, he was a little underwhelming, but I was personally against a Daryl buff just because I knew he would be like such a threat if they buffed him at all. And I was right. He is just unstoppable right now. So the bow one definitely felt like more of an accomplishment, but I did get Daryl the 1K, so that's something to be proud of, I guess. I didn't have any intentions on getting Daryl to 1K this season, but mid-season it just struck me like he's at 750. It's been like this easy so far. I might as well just push him the rest of the way. So I probably did this in the span of, I want to say, 10 hours over 3 days. From 900 to 1000 cups, I lost 3 games, and that was it. I basically covered that in 1 day. So shout out to my teammates. You guys were awesome. You all know who you are. But yeah, it was pretty simple as far as 1K goes. I'm not expecting them all to be like this, but hopefully I can keep it up. Okay, so let's get into some general tips with Daryl. So currently he is the only brawler in the game that can charge their super ability passively. Now what this means is over a span of 20 seconds, you don't even have to hit anyone. You can just hang back in your spawn, on your side of the map, and your super will charge up automatically. And I think that's one of the reasons why he's so devastating right now. It definitely needs a nerf in my opinion, but just abuse it while you can because it is ridiculous, guys. So what I recommend doing at the start of maps is you don't need to be aggressive because you are going to get your super no matter what. Oftentimes your enemies will overextend just because they want to get their supers too, and waiting 20 seconds isn't too long, so I just hang back sometimes, let them get a little overconfident, cocky, and then I'll roll in on them. And he's pretty unstoppable right now no matter who you roll in on, so it is really devastating to the enemy team. He is also a fairly tanky brawler that can do considerable damage up close, so keep that in mind when you're sizing up your opponents. Okay guys, let's get to Daryl's super attack. So for Daryl's super attack, he can roll in any direction for 7 tiles. His super attack also has a very cool mechanic where he can roll over water, and he can go great distances. It's just basically as much space as the water takes up. And you can use this in a lot of ways, like for transportation across the map if you need it, getting away from enemies, etc., surprising people. But it is a very strong super, and he is just so lethal with it, especially when you combine it with his star power. Daryl's star power is that he receives a 40% damage reduction for 3.5 seconds after any roll. Now this is incredibly useful, and it allows you to basically win every single 1v1 against any character in the game as long as you aim your roll properly, you have a good amount of health, just because he does so much damage and he has so much damage resistance. He is just such an insane brawler, guys, and if you don't know how to use him by now, you better after this video because I want you all to take full advantage of the Daryl meta and just get him as high as you can. Alright, now let's get to Daryl's best modes and his best maps in those modes. Now this was very, very, very hard for me to decide because he is just so dominant in so many different modes and maps. but I managed to narrow it down. A lot of it's just biased to what I pushed him on and what I like. Um, but yeah, he is just very dominant right now, guys, so don't be scared to use him on maps that I don't include in this list. Even in Showdown, which I ranked 5, he's still very dominant, so yeah, don't be scared to use him in Showdown if you love spinning. Okay, guys, so for Daryl's best mode, I ranked it as Gem Grab, and it's not his best mode by much, just because he's so dominant in every mode right now, but it's where I did a majority of my pushing, and I'm most confident in using Daryl in Gem Grab. My personal favorite maps to use Daryl on are number 1, Hard Rock Mine, and it's just because I feel like the lanes are a perfect length for him. There's bushes so you can hide and just gain your super back, and the mid's not too far from the sides, like the bushes on the sides, so you can roll in on the mids pretty easily. A lot of it's just IQ and knowing when to go for the mid. But yeah, he's super solid there. And then after that, I have Deep Siege, which I probably did the most pushing on. The one day I was out, I pushed from 925 to 1K. I lost 2 games in that span, I think. But yeah, he is just insane in Deep Siege, Hard Rock. And then finally, I have Echo Chamber. And I haven't played him too much here, but he's just so much fun. Because a lot of the meta on Echo Chamber, it's the one map where you can actually use Piper. And Daryl is just so... He's such a bully against Piper, guys. Piper and like long-range brawlers, they really, really struggle against Daryl. Especially if you can use the water to your advantage on this map, you will get great results pushing him on Echo Chamber. Okay, so for Daryl's second best mode, I ranked it as Heist. Now, if this was 3 months ago, it would be Heist by far, but since the mechanics were changed up on Daryl and he got the rework, I feel like it's his second most dominant mode. And before it used to be just for damage on the safe, but now it's just complete like domination of all the other brawlers on the map, because Heist does tend to be long range brawlers. You even see some throwers. It's been cut down a bit since the update. But yeah, he is just so good at assassinating those brawlers, and you can just bully people with Daryl and Heist. For his best Heist map, I put Kaboom Canyon. And that map's just mid-control in my opinion, so just roll around on enemy brawlers, like, make them have a bad time, you know, push some cups. After Kaboom, I have Twist and Shoot, and I think that's a very good one just because of the lanes, and he can dominate it, so... All the laney maps Daryl does, like, really well on once he starts, like, chaining supers. But yeah, after Twist and Shoot, I put Corner Case, and I haven't had a lot of experience on these new Heist maps, I'm not going to lie to you guys, but when I have used them there, I've gotten great results. So, again, don't take it like these are the only 3 Heist maps you can play him on. I'm sure he's fine on every one. It's just the ones that I had the best results from. Okay, next up for his third best mode, we have Brawl Ball. And with the recent update in Brawl Ball, Daryl is basically the only viable ball carrier, and in Brawl Ball, I guess, right now. You can still use Primo and Frank sometimes, but Daryl is just so much more viable. He like kind of dominates those brawlers too right now if he gets a roll on them, and he is just so hard to stop once he has that ball in his hand. So his best Brawl Ball map, in my opinion, would have to be Pinhole, and I think the map just really works well with his whole assassin kind of mentality. There's all the bushes in the middle, you can charge your super pretty fast, you can sneak up on the sides, there's like clear lanes that you can roll down, and he is just a beast on Pinhole, guys. Like, pray you don't play against a Daryl and like always try having one on your team. He is really unstoppable there. After Pinhole, I chose Backyard Bowl, and I think the lanes work really well with him here. It's not too crowded, so you can get some good rolls off. You can roll on your enemies. You can do the little ball dribbling trick, and yeah, he's a beast on Backyard. I strongly recommend always using him here. And for his third best map for Brawl Ball, I put Pool Party. Now, I've only played this map a handful of times. I think it's been in the rotation once since it came out, but it's just so much fun using the water mechanics on this map. He's not as dominant as he is on Pinhole and Backyard here, but you can still get really, really good results, and you can do a lot of cool plays with the water, so I had a blast pushing him here. So, Daryl's fourth best mode, in my opinion, would be Bounty, and usually when I say a brawler's fourth best mode, they're like, whatever in it, but Daryl's just an exception. He is such a beast. I can't like say it enough. He's just so unstoppable right now. He has the whole assassin thing where you can roll in, get a kill, get a star, and then just roll back out to safety. There's also this really, really toxic bounty comp going around, and it is Daryl double healer. I'm not gonna lie, I use it every now and then, but I feel really dirty every time I do because it is just so cheap, guys. They really need to fix it because it's taken all the variety out of bounty, I guess. And I know they wanted to change it up a bit from just long range brawlers, but I feel like the long range brawlers shouldn't be obsolete in a mode that they dominated for so long. His number one bounty map, in my opinion, is Snake Prairie, and he really works so well with bushes, so it just suits him very well, especially since Bo got a nerf now. A lot of the times your opponent won't have any idea where Daryl is, and you can always like see where they are because they'll be checking lanes, they'll be like shooting into random bushes, hoping to get a hit, and just based off that, you can use your IQ, roll in, get a kill, recharge your super, roll back out. And I have great results with Daryl competitively there. He's basically an essential. Next up, I have Excel, and he is just so dominant there with that double healer comp that I mentioned earlier. It is such a pain to play against, and I'm seeing a lot of games just double healer Daryl, and they'll finish like 5-3 or something like that. It's just not very enjoyable, but if you're looking for easy cups, definitely run that comp there, and you'll get great results. Finally, I have Bullpen, and it's just the same thing. Double healer Daryl. It's ridiculous right now, guys. But it's the reality. Like, he is just so good with that double healer. He's such a threat when he rolls in. He gets that shield already, and the heals just keep him up forever. So, yeah, if you want the easy cups, just run that comp on Bullpen. Or Cell, or a lot of maps. Sad reality, but yeah, he's just super dominant in bounty right now too. Okay guys, so for Daryl's final best mode, I put Showdown and Duo Showdown, and I'm not saying he's bad there by any means. He's incredibly viable there, but I have had a lot more practice in the 3v3 modes, and Showdown's always a little too RNG for me, but he is just such a beast in Showdown and Duo Showdown in the games that I have played. Okay guys, so for Daryl's final best mode, I listed it as Showdown and Duo Showdown. Now, I'm not saying he's bad in this mode by any means, it's just I have the least experience with these modes, and he's just such a beast at the other modes, I couldn't rank it higher than the other ones. For his best maps in Showdown and Duo Showdown, I have Thousand Lakes, Scorched Stones, and Dune Drift. And for Duo Showdown, he pairs incredibly well with a Poco. It goes like that in all the other modes too. So yeah, definitely get some power cubes, get that Poco heal up, and then roll in on whoever you want. So right now in this meta, as long as Daryl has his roll, he can take out any mid to long range brawler fairly easily. My favorite targets are Brock, Nita, Spike, Tara, and Pocos. Now, that's not saying that he can't take out any other brawlers, because just where he is in the meta, he can basically handle any 1v1, but those are just my favorite targets to go for. Okay, so this entire video you've heard me talk about how powerful Daryl is and how dominant he is in every single mode. So you're probably wondering, how can I counter Daryl? And luckily there are a few ways that you can deal with a Daryl. Now, the best way to counter a Daryl is by having a Shelly on your team with her super attack. Shelly's super attack is super useful on tanks, and she can chain it really fast, especially on a rolling in Daryl. Now, you're not always going to have a Shelly on your team, so other ways to counter Daryl include Bull is fairly decent just because of his damage close range, and Daryl has to get up close to do damage, but he's still not the perfect counter. Another super underrated counter to Daryl is a Jessie with her turret. Now, if you drop your turret as soon as the Daryl rolls in on you, they'll typically lock onto the turret, and you can heal the turret, keeping it alive, and chaining your attack onto the Daryl too. This does a huge amount of damage, especially with your turret chipping in, and is one of my favorite counters to Daryl. I've also had some success countering Daryl with Pam, but you have to make sure to keep your range, and having your turret in hand does help out since you can drop it as a shield. And also Leon, but again, you have to keep your distance, and because Leon is very fast, you can get away from Daryl unless he rolls in directly on him. Okay, cool guys, that's all that I wanted to cover about Daryl in this episode of Keeping It 1K. If you guys have any suggestions for future videos, just drop it in the comment section, or if you have any questions about Daryl, don't be shy, just drop it in the comment section as well. Thank you all for taking the time to watch this video. Please comment, like, subscribe, share it with your friends if you liked it. And yeah, thanks so much, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.